Good morning, everyone. The intention of this next session is to take you through the new digital signing process, or called DSS. This new signing method will enable you as the F&I and your customer to make use of their cell phone when signing the VAP documents and supporting docs, like inspection sheets. You will be able to do that remotely on your cell phone, so it will enable you to send this signing request to your customer in advance after preparing the documentation, so that your customer can go through this document, sign it at their own leisure, at their own time, and once that's signed, it will then be passed on to the next signatory, which also needs to sign the document, and in most cases that would be yourself as the F&I. You would normally just access the boardroom like the old traditional method with your login credentials. We've also built some configuration options for you to set it up in your boardroom, and that can be done when you click on the My Signio tab under My Preference, where the screen is presented. Almost at the bottom, you will find the configuration options that's available for digital signing. There are three different settings that you can set. The first, sign before the customer. That's literally just a signing order or the signing sequence that you can set up. When that box is ticked, like we have on the screen at the moment, it will just mean that the F&I will sign first the document before it will be then sent on to your customer for him or her to then sign their documents as well. The second and the third option is just around one-time PIN signing, and the difference there is instead of the customer using their finger to sign on the screen of their phone, they will be just capturing a one-time PIN, which will be unique per VAP, which will then sign the VAP document digitally. Right, so you accept that, save the changes, and you can close the screen. Just on that note, very important, when you set up your signing configuration, please do not switch between those configurations when you sign your VAP. Preferably select the method that you want to use for configuration and leave it on that status. Right, so I've selected a product on application, so I'm not going to go through the process of selecting a new application, open the Signio electronic app, selecting a VAP from that perspective. You know that and how that process works. I've selected a product for the purpose of this demonstration. And when you select a product either from application or from your bank podium or as an aftermarket, it immediately creates an entry with a unique batch reference number in Signio, and that can be identifiable under the Signio column with its different states. For you to continue with signing your VAP, a normal process would just be to click on that status where the VAP page will be presented, and two important fields on this VAP page for the digital signing process will be the cell phone number. The cell phone number is needed because as soon as the request is initiated for DSS, it will be sent to that customer for that cell phone number. So it needs to be the correct number, otherwise your customer won't receive the SMS and they will not be in a position to sign those VAP documents. The second field of importance will be the email address under the client section. And the purpose for that is as soon as the DSS process is initiated, we will immediately send an email to your customer. In that email, the PDF document will be presented in a preview format, and the purpose for that is just for your client to read the text of the document in a bigger format instead of reading it on their cell phone. Normal process, just continue completing all your mandatory fields, and the product that I've selected on application obviously pulls through to this page, or it will come from the podium, irrespective. And your next step naturally will be to click on the generate button at the left bottom of this page. When that's done, we just make sure that we lock the data on the screen, and the purpose for that is just to make sure when data is submitted to your supplier that we send them the latest information relevant for that product and for that customer, for that particular dealer. Once it's in a locked state, the buttons will appear, the sign and the cancel button, and your phase document will also appear. I just need to highlight at this point, there's no change in the signing workflow, and the process continue as per normal. You can either make a decision at this point to sign VAPs individually, like per the old system. It will work exactly the same with the new DSS system, or you can make use of the sign all functionality, which is the sign all button here that I'm circling. The difference between the two, if you make use of DSS, if you click on signing VAPs individually, it will mean that for every VAP, a new one-time PIN will be sent out. So a new SMS will be sent out with its unique one-time PIN, where we will ask all the signatories to sign those documents. If you make use of the sign all functionality and you sell more than one VAP, the difference is that one SMS will be sent out, which include all those documents for those VAPs that were selected, and it will just put your customer in a position to sign all the documents at once, the same on the F&I side, once you received your signing request. That's the difference between the two. Next step would be just to click on sign. After that, we just normally present a wizard, which is needed for the different VAP categories to be completed. And you would just then continue to click on the sign. Very important just to note that once you clicked on the sign, this is where we will now take you to the new signing solution. And this is where the new process will commence. When you hit the sign button, we will just present the next screen. And this screen will be the new signing solution, which will show to you an activity sheet or an audit trail. And it will just guide you through the signing process step by step on the different actions that were performed by all the different signatories that needs to sign a particular document. On the left-hand side, you will be able to see immediately if the SMS was sent out. And as you can see, that highlighted section there, it was sent out to Corneille, to that cell phone number, at that date and at that time. It shows a send state here, and immediately I received my SMS, which I will be sharing with you in a couple of moments. But when I refresh this page, just important to note that you will pick up that the sent changed to a delivered. It just means that the service provider has delivered this SMS successfully to that first signatory, which needs to sign the document. And for the purpose of this demo, I've changed the configuration for me as the F&I to sign the document first in line. For this session, I will also be signing as the customer, just to demonstrate the full end-to-end process for this. Now you can continue reading all the other sentences that's in here. It just highlights that, none of the documents have been signed yet. On the right-hand side, it's just what we call the proper audit trail. That includes the activity, step by step. It includes the IP addresses, date, timestamp, and if your geo mapping was activated, both for you as F&I and your customer, we will also lock that geo mapping. And that will just show the position where you was when you did the signing of this document, as well as your client. Just bear with me so I can share my cell phone, and then I will take you through the signing of the document on your cell phone. All right, there we go. So there's the SMS that I received. And immediately you can see that the SMS is there. When you open up the link, you can see at the bottom, it says, Dear Corneille, VAP Live, which is the boardroom for this demo. I send you a link to sign a document with a unique one-time PIN and a link. And at the bottom, you can see for which document you will be signing. Just take a note, when you make use of the sign all functionality, you will get one link. We cannot display all the documents if more than one VAP was sold. So it will just make reference of multiple documents that needs to be signed. Right, continue copying that one-time PIN. Click on the link. It will take you to a landing page where you need to put in those credentials. Right, and this is the landing page. So just both for you as the F&I and your customer, it will just say that VAP Live, which is the boardroom, is now starting with the remote signing process. There's a little message that we send to the signatory. There's an instructional video button. So when you hit that button, we will be playing an animated video for about 55 seconds, taking you through the signing process of what that looks like on the actual document. At the bottom of that, you can activate your GPS location. And if that's activated, we will obviously make it part of the audit trail, which is a document at the end that we will attach to the entire PDF. And then you can capture your credentials. So I'm just going to put in my one-time PIN that I received and just putting in my ID number. And I hit go or proceed. And it looks like I made a mistake on my ID number. There we go, proceed. There we go. You'll be able to identify the document. And you can now scroll from right to left to look at all the different fields and the data that's populated. We know that the schedule needs to be signed at the bottom. So when you scroll down, and my phone is currently in a vertical position, you will see that the system will guide you and ask you to switch this phone into a horizontal position. So you can just unlock that if it's not activated on your phone. And I'm now switching my phone to a horizontal position. Just moving up the document. Right, then just again, there's the schedule. Move right to left just to view all the different data under the different sections. And as we get to the bottom of this document, you will see that the system is prompting me that we need the signature now for the representative, which is Corne. And at the bottom is my signature block. Now I can just continue and I can sign as the F&I. If you made a mistake, you will see there's a clear button on the left top corner. You can just hit that and you can re-sign. Two other buttons on the right-hand side at the top and bottom. The one says next page. If you hit that button, it will take you to the T's and C's for this particular product. You can click next page until you have read all the T's and C's. As we know, this is advisable for your customer because PPR require us and our customers to understand the T's and C's that's relevant for that particular product. If you want to complete the process, you can just click next signature and it will either take you to the next signature if one is needed for this particular document, or it will end the signing process for this document and you will be prompted that the signing has been completed. Also very important to note, at the top, it says now saving signature 1 of 1. If more than one signature is needed for a particular document, and that might be things like a debit order mandate, the system will guide you to say, we need one of 2 of 1 or 1 signatures. And that means that you will have to place a signature in the mandate as well, which is similar to what I've just shown you. Right, so I'm finished signing. I click on next signature and the system within the next couple of seconds will prompt me that the signing has been completed for me as the F&I. Immediately an SMS went out to the customer and I'm the customer in this exercise as well. And I'm just going to share that. There we go. There's the SMS. And at the bottom, you can now read and see that the message is a little bit different. It now says Dear Testing, which is the customer. That particular boardroom, I send you a link with a different one-time PIN to sign that document. So your customer can just copy the one-time PIN. They can open up the link. They get to the landing page where that information is captured. And we're just putting in the ID number for the client. and you hit go. All right, so just scrolling to the top. So there's the document. This is now presented to your customer. And again, I think it's important that you guide your customer when they receive their link, that they switch their phone immediately horizontal, just to make it easier for them to read the document. Now I can read this at any time. I can scroll down when I'm ready to sign this document, and you can note immediately that my signature as the F&I has already been populated in the signature of representative block, and I can now immediately pick up that the signature is needed for the client. There's my signature block at the bottom, and again the same buttons appear, which is clear, next page if you want to view the T's and C's, or next signature if you want to jump immediately to the next signature. I'm applying my signature as the client 1, right? And if I want to go to the T's and C's, you can just click next page. If you want to complete the process, you just click next signature. Immediately your client is also prompted that the signing has been completed. Just give me a second to exit and share the different screen. And then I'll show you what it looks like on the audit trail. All right. So just getting back to the audit trail, at any time you can exit the screen. So if you want to close it, you can welcome to close that. You'll be prompted with a go to button, which will just take you back into that screen if the signing and the system is not updated the injected document yet. On the left hand side, to take you back to the summary, you can now identify that Corneille has signed all his documents. The link was sent to the customer, it was delivered successfully, and the customers also signed their documents. On the right hand side, you can follow the activities step by step with all the IPs that's been logged, as well as geomapping when that was activated. When you click on that link, it will just open up Google Maps, and it will take you to the position where the customer and yourself was when the signing was done. There is an indication. Right, and then you can close this. Close that screen, and you can ask the system, check if the system can just update this deal. Yeah, there's just an indicating that the deal is in a generated state. When I hover over the state, you can immediately pick up for that product. It's still in a VAP save, so we're just waiting for the system to update. There we go. Right, and I can pick up that the system updated the state. It now says VAP signed. So again, when I click on the page, it takes you to the VAP page. Like with a normal existing workflow, there's the state that updated from a signed to a view. That's an indication that the document has been signed. When you click on view, it will open up the PDF document, and you'll be able to look at all the signatures. There we go. Signature for client, signature for F&I, and then obviously that it's been digitally certified. There's your T's and C's, and then very important, the last page in this PDF package will then be your activity sheet. So exactly what you've seen in Signio will now be populated on this, and this is your audit trail. Immediately once this is done, your F&I and your customer would have received an email with this PDF. They need to capture, it's password protected, so they need to capture the F&I's ID, the client's ID number to open up this document. But you can immediately save this, and the client also has this document at the same time. You can now then continue with your next process, which is normally just to then complete your phase document, and that can be done in the same fashion. Just very important to note, your phase is always signed last in the process. Once that's done, then we only send the VAP data to your supplier. When you click on the sign button for phase, same process as with the VAP, a new SMS link will be sent out with a unique different one-time PIN, again to you as the F&I, as well as to the customer, which will allow them to sign that document as well. Just to rephrase again, the sign all when you sell more than one VAP is preferred, because then one SMS link gets sent out with multiple documents and both you and the client can sign all of that at once. That's the digital signing process. We would like to activate you guys. So if you are interested, please send us a request to vaps@lightstoneauto.co.za, and we can send out our consultants to provide assistance in terms of training, and we can activate you for this nice piece of technology. Thank you. Enjoy your day.